Montreal play a scrambly game. They're going to be tough to play against. They don't play in their position. They play all over the place. Maybe that's why.
So that's kind of like the Peter McNabb theory of Terry O'Reilly.
Yeah.
The other team can't stop him because they don't know what he's going to do because we don't know what he's going to do. So that's kind of like Vegas. Montreal runs it around.
Yeah, and I switched from one game to another, and they play the straight game, tough game, and Montreal. I tell you, they play that scrambling game. It's not going to be easy, and they got Price in the net.
So. One question, though, Dad, that last game, that game 7, or was it game 6 against Colorado? I mean, the hits were unbelievable. Like, they were just...
Remember the one guy who got hit so hard, his helmet went 15 feet in the air.
So Vegas is a really big hitting team. Montreal isn't. So are they going to run them out of the building? Like, what happens with that?
It's a funny thing. When a team doesn't hit and it doesn't, try to be tough or anything like that, the other team goes down and plays the same way. And
so you're saying that if a team hits and one team doesn't, it's not that the team that doesn't hit is going to hit; it's the team that does hit isn't going to hit.
Yeah, and if you don't have guys pushing you back and getting you upset and things like that.
Is this a game plan, or is this
no?
Just
it just happens.
It's just unconscious.
And I don't think it'll be a rough series unless DeBoer, our buddy, can from Kitchener, Tim, Coach DeBoer, tell a story about him in Kitchener. About the season seats holder behind the net.
Yeah, we told that story once before. So
tell it again.
Yeah, so the first time we met Peter DeBoer was in, I guess it was the 2003 prospect game.
Oh, that was a rough game.
Yeah, so people that don't know what the prospect game is, it's every year the NHL gets all the kids in the CHL who are draft eligible. So, and they put them on 2 teams, and it used to be Team Cherry versus Team Orr, and so all the scouts and GMs can come and see. It was like the best on best, so they can kind of see. And they're not exhibition games; like the players really go out. So
that game proved it.
Yeah. So this game, the first game, we met Peter DeBoer and his assistant coach Steve Spott.
And everywhere that DeBoer goes, Coach DeBoer goes, he brings Steve Spott with him.
Right.
And he had him in Kitchener and everywhere he went.
So so after the game, we'll talk about the game in a minute, but after the game, we were, Bobby leaves right away because he almost leaves. And then so we were kind of sitting in the dressing room, and Peter and Steve came over and having a couple of beers and with Brian Kilray, which leads to another, which leads to another, which leads to another.
Brian Kilray.
So he was telling a funny story, and we told it before, but it's funny. We'll tell it again, that the old Kitchener Arena, used to be no glass behind the bench.
And it was close. It was like you could walk around.
Like you were like right up against the. So basically, Peter DeBoer's back is right against the wall, right behind the seats. And there was season seat holders that sat behind the bench that had been there forever. So Peter says, you got to be nice to them, right? You got to say hello, and you got to do like the thing.
Junior hockey, yeah.
So you got to be quiet. You got to, it's. And so Peter goes, he says, we'd sit there, and he says, he says they were like the Muppets, the old two grumpy guys in the Muppets sitting there. So. He goes, we wouldn't score on the power play. And the guy go, well, I guess the coach isn't practicing on the power play much, is he? No. Or he goes, we get a penalty, they score on a power play. Well, I guess the coach needs to work on the penalty kill. And I don't think I would have had that. And he says, I'm just sitting there and I'm steaming. And he says, you want to turn around and scream at them, but you can't. So,
no.
But luckily now they have glass back there. But that was the first time we met.
I played in that Kitchener arena. That's a beautiful arena. What
league would that have been?
That was the EPHL, and I played for Kitchener. And I remember I must tell a story. I won't tell a story today, but I will tell a story how I got my first apartment there. I was the last guy on the team. Shall I tell that story?
Sure.
No, I'll tell that story some other time.